Feedback from several of you being in the totally online format that a verbal overview of some of the formal papers might be helpful. So I'm going to walk you through a couple of formal papers. So if you would go on the content page and come on down to Major Assignments and click on the PDF called Formatting Requirements for Formal Papers. This is a PDF that, we'll open it up, that my professional role transformation students asked for, but it's applicable in any class. And it is essentially a mock paper for formatting of a formal paper in APA style. So let's quickly go through it. Please note the running head and the format is different on page 1 than it is on page 2 and subsequent pages. So most of you have that skill pretty much honed in by now, but just in case you don't, that's a quick reminder. Please add page numbers and just include the following elements: the name of the assignment, your name, Polk State College, and the date. If you will notice that the name of the paper is repeated, that is APA formal format, and then it begins with a short introduction that kind of sets the stage. And these are what I'm talking about in terms of level headers. There are 5 levels of headings in APA format, and so if you would review those, the website is at the end of this document, and I'll show you that in a moment. The purpose of level headings is to act as chapters, almost separating concepts and organizing a big formal paper into sections. So this kind of clues you that we're setting the stage for the first topic that you're going to be talking about. Here's topic number 2, etc. Topic number 3. If you will notice that I have done in-text referencing, most of you are getting at the senior level stage very competent with that skill. And here is the resource for the APA referencing on level headings if you choose to use that. So let's go back to the content page and let's look at the assignment for the leadership reflective paper. You have done reflective papers before. If you've had my role and theory class, you've done them in that class. So remember that reflective papers have no references. This is your total opinions, thoughts, values, etc. You're going to be essentially looking at your abilities related to the 5 elements of leadership described by Grossman and Valiga. And for those of you who want to review, pages 7 through 13, these are the concepts. So I want you to review those and think of those as an outline for your professional competencies. You're going to reflect on your program goals and growth since you've started in the BSN program, since your very first day in professional role transformation. How do you think you've changed with regard to these elements? I want you to analyze your strengths and opportunities for improvement related to these 5 elements. So within each section, you're going to be analyzing your strengths and opportunities for improvement. Within the 5 elements, please give a specific example of how you demonstrate the attribute or how you propose to build that skill. It is not expected that you are competent in all 5 areas. or any of them at all. But I want you to give a specific example of how you propose to build that skill if you don't feel like you demonstrate that attribute. The last section is for you to state at least 3 career goals and discuss how enhancing those elements of leadership will help you accomplish those goals. And you can go back to some of the earlier application activities that we've done in earlier in the course and articulate those in greater depth. Please make those career goals that are meaningful and relevant to you. There's no sense in going through this exercise and you just kind of making something up just to please me. Make these relevant for you. If you want to join a professional organization or get on a committee of a professional organization, make that a goal and talk about how that goal will enhance one of the elements of leadership. If you want to publish a professional article or what have you, please articulate that and be specific. You are welcome to review any prior course material if you need it for referencing. Referencing is not necessary, but if you do tap into something, then please reference that. Please, please, please pay attention to the rubric. I can't tell you how many times I grade papers and there's whole chunks of the rubric missing. So once you write your paper, please go back and, like an OR checklist, make sure you have everything included before you turn it in. Here are some writing tips. I want your paper to include an introduction and a conclusion, and please use the following level headings in your paper. Please consider writing your first draft and then letting it rest, putting it aside, and then return and reread it out loud. Sometimes what you write, you read it out loud and you think, oh my gosh, I was really tired. What on earth was I thinking or writing? And sometimes thoughts are choppy or sentence construction just doesn't make a bit of sense the second time you go back and look at it. Please also go back and make sure that you've included all elements of the rubric. If needed, please use the TLCC. They will review your paper. Please, it's helpful to them to take the assignment, so take this paper with you so the tutor has an idea of what is expected, and then they can compare and contrast to make sure that you have included everything. Okay, so that is the highlights on the leadership reflective paper. So let's go back to the conflict resolution case studies. And here is the assignment on that. I've updated both of these to give a little bit more detail. Okay, let me just say that when I was designing this course earlier in the year, I actually opened a dialogue with Dr. Valiga, thinking that she had these wonderful case studies in terms of conflict, and she really didn't have anything, and I couldn't come up with anything in the literature that was really worth fooling with. So what I thought was that all of us at this point in our working careers as registered nurses have witnessed or experienced a conflict. And so it would make more sense, it would be more meaningful to you if you analyzed a conflict that either you witnessed or you were involved in. So you're going to take this assignment and do that. The case study number 1, I want to be a healthcare worker to patient and or family conflict. The second case study is a healthcare worker to healthcare worker conflict. Again, this can be a conflict that you witnessed or experienced. So the purpose of the assignment is to apply conflict resolution theory and communication principles to a life situation. And again, you know, you've had communication principles woven through several of your courses, starting with professional role transformation. This is going to be a formal paper written in third person. It has a title page, APA of course, level headings, and scholarly references. Please pay attention to spelling, grammar, etc. The paper itself is only 3 to 5 pages. I'm not looking for a master's level thesis. I'm looking for a case study, so it can be succinct but comprehensive. This is excluding cover and references. I expect that you have at least 4 scholarly references to support your explanations of effective communication principles and conflict resolution theory. I do not want to see you just relying on the textbook. You can do a lit search, you can use a website, it doesn't matter to me as long as the information is from a credible source. In your paper, please do not refer to anyone by name. Use a pseudonym in initials only, such as TL, a 40-ish male nurse, and MC, a 20-ish female respiratory therapist. Okay, here is what you're going to do to analyze the conflict. What I'm going to do is scoot on down here to the writing tips, because these are the level headings that I want you to use in your paper. And the first thing I want you to do after your introduction is describe the conflict. I want you to paint me a picture so that when I'm reading your paper, I have a clear picture of exactly who, what, when, and where. I'm there. I see it. I hear it. I feel it. So leave the reader, that's me, with a clear story about the conflict situation. If appropriate, you can describe antecedents as described here. So let's go back. Once you describe your conflict, you're going to go through and analyze your conflict according to the third side. And there is how you do that. Let me show you what I have for you on PAL to assist you with your conflict. Okay, there are a variety of resources here for conflict resolution. It's this one that's going to be of particular interest to you. This is from the Global Negotiation Project at Harvard University, a very reputable source, and it's called The Third Side. It's a way of looking at conflicts from a larger perspective. As you can see from the Venn diagram here, there's side 1 on a conflict and side 2. There are outsiders that are kind of viewing in, but the insiders, the party themselves, can take a third side and look at both situations and really analyze it. So everything you need to write your paper is on this website. The first thing I want you to do is go to the overview and read about the third side and conflict. I then want you to go to the third side assumptions and read all those and make sure you understand it. Then I want you to look at the third side skills as well. So when you're ready to, after you described your conflict, I want you to go here and apply the third side to my situation. And here, if you notice, is the exact 4 steps that's in your paper. You're going to assess the cost, diagnose the situation, identify roles, and take action. And you're going to conclude your paper with a conclusion. So on step 1, review the cost. You're going to read this and discuss the elements in this table. So I don't want you to create a table, but I want you to discuss for the parties and the community based on your particular conflict. Was there suffering? And suffering can be, all sorts of methods. Was there money costs? Was there time costs? Was there damage in relationships, etc.? So I want you to, that is involved with measuring the cost. In diagnosing the situation, your situation, you're going to go back to your communication and conflict theories. What happened? Why? Analyze it according to the theory. In identifying roles, you can come down here to the roles that everyone plays and identify the roles that were involved with the onlookers and the people that were involved with the situation. And then finally, let me go back to apply. You're going to take action, and here are some everyday third side actions that you might find appropriate, and you can pick any number of these that you like and maybe find some actions that might have prevented the situation in the first place or prevent it from occurring again. And I would like for you to list several reasonable actions that might be appropriate to your situation. There are some other resources as well that you can utilize for your paper. This is the Center for Resolution, and they have some excellent resources, and you are free to use this as one of your references if you like. You can also use this reference from the Boston Globe. There's a fantastic picture that just kind of sets the stage for conflict, and unfortunately these are things that happen frequently in the workplace and are very disruptive when patient care is at stake. Excuse me. So those are some resources. Again, you are more than willing to search the literature and find an appropriate resource. This gentleman, Alan Philly, did pivotal work with conflict resolution, and I included this just for your edification. Learn a little bit more about him as well. So those are the basics. I hope that has been helpful overview to you. If you have any further questions or concerns, please put it on the discussion board and you can discuss it among yourselves. Thank you, and you all have a good night.